Welcome to Step Into Grace Live Show. I'm Julie Marvel, and I'm so happy you're here today. If you're watching this right now and you've been feeling a little lonely, a little stuck, a little unsure of where you belong, I want you to take a deep breath and hear me clearly. You are not alone. You found us for a reason, and this show was created for women who are craving something real. No small talk, no surface level, no I'm fine when you're not really fine. Real connection, real conversation, real stories that remind you that you're not the only one who has walked through hard seasons, confusing seasons, lonely seasons, or seasons where it just looks totally different than you thought it would. Step Into Grace is a community built on simple belief. When women share stories, women heal. When women connect, women rise. And that is what we're doing here. This show is about meaning and purpose. It's about the power of a woman saying, "Me too." It's about being seen, it's about being heard, and it's about coming back home to yourself. And I want you to know something. You don't need to have your whole life figured out to be here. You don't need to be confident. You don't need to be over it. And you don't need to be the strongest version of yourself. You just need to be willing to take one small step toward connection. That's it. Because connection actually changes everything. And I want to talk to you like I'm sitting just right across from you, looking into your eyes, holding your hand, and reminding you of the truth. There's nothing wrong with you. You are not behind, you are not too much, and you are not hard to love. You are not meant to do life alone. You were created for community. And I know that might sound simple, but it's actually one of the bravest things in the world to admit. And I want deeper friendships. I want to feel like I belong. I want to be known. So if that's you, welcome. You're in the right place. This is Step Into Grace, and the vision behind this show is bigger than entertainment. It's transformation. It's women finding their way back from themselves through other women. Because when you hear another woman speak her truth, something happens. You stop judging yourself. You stop hiding. You stop feeling like you have to carry everything alone. You start remembering who you actually are. And lately, I've been really inspired by Mel Robbins. I love how she speaks to women with both compassion and clarity. Like she's not here to coddle you, but she's also not here to shame you. She's here to wake you up in the most loving way possible. She talks a lot about how your life changes when you stop waiting to feel ready, when you stop waiting for confidence, when you stop waiting for that perfect moment. Because the truth is, confidence doesn't come first, action comes first. You know, I also listen to Tony Robbins, and he always says the best way to find your confidence is through progress. Once you start to make progress in your life, confidence will follow. And one of the most powerful ideas that Mel Robbins shares is that relationships are not optional, they are essential. The connection is not a luxury, it's a need. And I want to say that again because so many women feel guilty for wanting friendship, like it's childish, like it's something we should outgrow, like we should just be fine on our own. And the answer is no. You are not weak for wanting connection, you are human. Friendship is medicine. And one of my favorite things about Mel is she's constantly reminding women that your life gets better when you get brave enough to start having those honest conversations. No, not perfect conversations, not polished conversations, real honest ones. Because conversation is the bridge. Conversation is how we go from strangers to friends. Conversation is how we go from loneliness to belonging. Conversation is how we stop feeling invisible. And if you've felt invisible, I want you to know something. I see you. I see the woman who shows up for everyone else. I see the woman who holds it all together on the outside. I see the woman who smiles and keeps moving, but wonders in quiet moments, is this it? Is this really all there is? Why do I feel so disconnected? Where are my people? And you're not crazy. You're not dramatic. You're not asking for too much. And you're just ready for more meaning, more purpose, more connection, more joy, more laughter, more women who feel like home. And that is what Step Into Grace is. This isn't just a group. It isn't just events. This isn't just a show. This is a movement of women deciding, I am not going to do this life alone anymore. I'm not going to shrink anymore. I'm not going to sit in my house and hope that things will change. I am going to step forward. And if you're new, here's what I want you to understand about what we do. We create spaces where women actually connect, not just show up and leave, not just stand around awkwardly, and not just to say hi and never say anything else again. We create experiences where women build friendship. And I know that can feel scary. It feels like it's a first date sometimes, especially if you've been hurt before, especially if you've lost friendships, especially if you've been through divorce, grief, you're an empty nester, you've had relocation or retirement recently, or you're giving care to someone else. Any of those transitions can shake your world. When your life changes, your friendships often change too. And that can leave you feeling untethered, like you're floating, like you don't know where you belong anymore. The community exists for that woman, the woman in transition, the woman rebuilding, the woman that is starting over, the woman who is strong, but tired of being strong alone. So if you're listening and you're thinking, I want friends, but it's hard. I want community, but I don't know where to start. I'm nervous and I'm definitely out of practice. That's perfect because this isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about being willing. Your next chapter does not have to be lonely. It can be full of friendships, full of purpose, full of laughter, and full of women who totally get you. But you have to say yes to it. And I know that may sound like a big ask, so let me make it small. Just say yes to one conversation. Just say yes to one event. Just say yes to one new friend. And this is how it starts. So if you've been watching this show or you've been following along or you've been curious about Step Into Grace, I want to invite you to take the next step with us. Go to our website, stepintograce.vip. That is where you can learn all about what we do and how we get connected with women right here in Southwest Florida. And before I introduce my first guest today, I want to give a heartfelt thanks to 239 Live Productions. Kevin Wilkinson and his team has been incredible. The studio production, the support, the technical talent behind the scenes, we truly could not do this without them. They've helped us bring this vision to life, and I'm so grateful. And if you're watching this and you own a business or you have a brand and you're someone who believes in women and community and connection and you'd like to sponsor Step Into Grace live show, I would love to talk to you. Please send us a message at support@stepintograce.vip. Sponsorship is an incredible way to support the mission while also reaching a very large audience of women who care deeply about wellness, growth, friendship, and living with intention. Okay, now that we've set the tone, now that you really know what the show is all about, let's get into today's conversation. I'm so excited to introduce our first guest today. Her name is Linda Bucher, and you're going to love her. So let's bring on Linda and jump into her story. Welcome, Linda.
Thanks for having me, Julie.
Of course, I'm so happy to have you here today. All right, so let's start at the beginning of your story, Linda. Before season, when life looked like, for anyone meeting you for the first time, who were you at the very beginning, and what does your life look like today? So kind of give us a little background on you, Linda.
Okay, so today I want to kind of contrast it.
Yes.
So today I am living this authentic life where I can just be me, as goofy as I want, as crazy as I want. I'm super outgoing. I'm like a butterfly on steroids. Put me at an event. I'll talk to anybody. I make friends like that in the supermarket, wherever. I'm clear. I'm confident. I do meaningful work. I know that my why is even bigger than me, the work that I do here. But if you were to know me, the before picture, you would not see this woman that you see here today. You would have saw someone who was so insecure that she would settle for abusive relationships.
Mhm.
Um, you would have seen um, someone who was climbing the corporate ladder that she didn't know was leaning against the wrong building. She
Mm.
should have been leaning against a different building.
Yeah, yeah.
You would have seen an overwhelmed widow of 3 young children. You would have seen someone going through fighting for a family, because before I was widowed, I had really had to fight for children through 3 miscarriages, 6 months of chemotherapy, 5 years of infertility treatments, and 3 international adoptions. So, like, it
That's a
kind of,
lot.
yeah, there was a
That's a
lot going
lot.
on. Yeah.
That's a lot. So take us back to the very beginning, the season when everything looked successful on the outside, but on the inside you felt disconnected. What did life feel like for you at that time, the very beginning?
Yeah. So on paper, everything looked great. I had a house, I had a family, I had a little cottage at the beach that I would spend weekends on. We had a boat, we were doing boating. I had a job where I got to wear power suits and feel important.
Yeah,
Um, and yet I was gapingly unfulfilled. That's what it was. And it only got harder after my husband suddenly passed away in his sleep. And I just felt like this is not the life that I'm meant to be living. I was overwhelmed. I was like, when is somebody going to take care of me? I'm taking care of everything, especially when you're a single mom.
yeah,
You're just doing absolutely everything. And like, when is it going to be my turn? Like, I remember feeling like that,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And I like to say, like, I wasn't walking around like Eeyore, all depressed, like, oh, bother.
yeah,
I was always pretty smiley. But now I see what it was. I was putting on my very fancy martyr crown,
yeah,
because if I had to suffer, at least somebody should notice.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's so instinctive sometimes for women that are going through hard times to think that there's going to be someone that's going to swoop in and Superman the day, right? That they're going to come in and save you. And for whatever reason, we really are looking around for someone externally to take responsibility for what we really need to take responsibility for sometimes, right?
Yeah, I call it the land of hoping and waiting,
Yeah.
where you're hoping for something or someone to change and waiting for it to happen. And there is no more powerless place in the world than that land.
Yeah, but you're giving the power away.
100%.
Yeah, and by choice, and you're not maybe conscious of it, but it's definitely what's happening.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's talk about you remember thinking, I don't know what I'm meant to be doing, but I'm sure it's not this. And so where were you when you had that thought? What was that
Oh,
time in your life like?
right. It wasn't just a thought. I actually said it out loud to nobody. I'm pretty sure I was in my bedroom, and it was actually before my husband died, and I'm like, I don't know what life I'm meant to be living. It wasn't just about career. It was like, this life looks great on paper, but I know this isn't it. This is not it. And so at that point I felt really angry, right? And
Mhm.
and anger, it didn't solve anything, but what it did do is like spark something really really important in me. It sparked a super powerful intention to change things for myself. It was the very beginning of leaving that victimville land of hoping and waiting.
Yeah,
And so I would say anger,
that's
and
interesting.
yeah, like, because I knew I wasn't weak. I wasn't in that land of hoping and waiting or in settling because I was weak. I was there because I just didn't know there was a way out.
Yeah.
And then when I get angry, that kind of like was the very beginning of everything.
Yeah, it's kind of like being in limbo. And I would imagine there's some fear about moving in that direction. There's like you want to do something else. You're so frustrated with your situation, which is where the anger comes from. But then there had to be some fear about making the changes as well. Would you agree? And how did that feel for you?
Oh yeah, there was a lot of fear. So my late husband was an alcoholic,
Mm.
and I had to hide that from the world and
Yeah.
hide it from my little children. And which again, you can see why the
Yeah.
why me. I didn't sign up for this, where that all came from. And so I felt I, I felt at the time like, well, no one else is going to fix this, so I got to do something. So, I said, well, let's go to marriage counseling, because at the time we had already adopted 2 children, and he wanted to adopt another one. I was like, I don't think this, I'm not sure this is working.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Let's not do it again.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And the marriage counselor, said, well, told my husband, well, you are an alcoholic and we have to deal with that. And he said, I'm not. And so when someone else is not going to deal with it, I thought, well, if he's not going to do what he should be doing, that's, I know I got to do what I can be doing.
Yeah.
As long as I take care of my own personal healing and growth, then I know I've done everything I could. And if this marriage fails, that's not on me.
Right.
So that's what I did. Is I didn't know there was such a thing as life coaches at the time, because it really wasn't. So I sought out a therapist. Even though I know at the time, I know now looking back, I didn't need a therapist.
Yeah.
But I did all my own work, and what was interesting about when you do your own work, and what that means is like looking close and being honest with yourself, and stopping the blaming of others, and realizing, where you stand and where you settle, and what you're afraid of. When I started doing that, I started discovering this person in me that I didn't know was there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, she's pretty awesome.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think life coaching is so life changing because it's forward thinking, and it's tools, and it's action steps to move you in the right direction. So paint the picture of where phase are we in? So you have 2 children. You weren't able to have your own children, so you adopted 2 children. Your husband's an alcoholic. Now you realize this isn't working. I'm going to seek my own help because he's not willing to participate in that.
Right.
And so what happens next? What's the next stage that happens for you guys?
Well, the next thing that happened to me is I had to make a decision because we had adopted 2 boys.
Right.
That I really wanted a daughter. I mean, what mommy doesn't want a daughter, right? Yeah. So I had to make the decision, was I willing to give up having a daughter? Right. And so,
That's tough.
we talked about it, and I said, I will give it, like, we need to give it some time. I'm not ready to adopt right now. And my husband said, well, let's give it 6 months and then decide. And I tried hard. I know he tried hard, because it wasn't that he didn't love me. He just had a disease, which I didn't understand at the time.
Yeah.
To be fair, I did not understand it was a symptom of a greater pain.
Yeah.
And so we waited. And then when you get involved and you say, okay, yes to adoption, you get involved in it. Now you're so swept up. I'm swept up in this beautiful little girl. And, when we brought her home, and how sweet she was, and how much her brothers loved her, they were probably 4 and 6 years old when we brought her home.
Fun.
Yeah. So it was, I will tell you, she is a ray of sunshine continually. She never even went through that, oh, girls phase that she's just.
Yeah.
So I was meant to be her mom, and she was meant to be my daughter. So it was an excellent decision.
Yeah.
However, the marriage was not doing well.
Yeah.
And I had one foot out the door. But when you have an alcoholic for a husband, you worry, like, we're going to get joint custody, then my children won't be safe. So it's safer for my children for me to stay.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes we make these decisions to stay.
Yeah.
Not because where I used to stay, because I didn't think I was worthy of something more. Like, I had a abusive relationship before that husband, in a different relationship. And that was like, well, I'm afraid to be alone, or maybe I don't really deserve any better. Maybe this is what love looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's not why I stayed this time. This time I stayed because I was protecting, as mama bear. I was
like
protecting.
Joint custody is concerning.
Yes.
Because when they go to his house.
Right. And he was an excellent dad. He loved those kids like crazy. I mean, he was such a good dad, but he couldn't control the drinking.
Yeah.
And he was not the kind to hand over his keys when he had too much. Mm-hmm. So it was that fear and that mama bear that said, I'll stick it out because I can protect them better.
Yeah. Yeah. And so there's a turning point in your story where everything changes for your family. So why don't you talk a little bit about that time and how that looked for your family?
Yeah. So my husband liked to go out to our cottage and, do some work on it. He was like a handyman guy who would do some of that. And then there was a bar right near there. And so he would be happy to go out there by himself because no one was watching how much he was drinking. Yeah. And he went out to plant some bushes. and stay overnight. We talked to him, we said goodnight. And the next day he was supposed to meet me. I used to teach aerobics, and I'd get my kids into the pool at swimming lessons. And then I'd go teach aerobics, he would meet me at the pool, and then I'd go to the class, and he would get them dried off and bring them home and bring them to bed. And he didn't show up. And I didn't know, like, that was so unlike him. And I had called him, and he wasn't answering. So I canceled the aerobics class, and I got the kids out of the pool. I brought him home, went to bed, or put him to bed. And then I called my neighbors out there, and I said, have you seen him? And they said, well, his truck's still there, but we don't see him. And so now I'm thinking, I'm mad. Like, he's probably passed out somewhere. Right.
Yeah.
And, but my intuition, women, like, we know, right?
Yeah.
My intuition said there's something really wrong. So I asked a neighbor to break into the house, and they found him passed away. He had just died in his sleep.
Wow.
On a May morning.
That's
no warning whatsoever. My kids were 3, 5, and 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
My gosh. And so the middle of shock and heartbreak, where do you go with that right away? Because you've got these 3 kids, you're now grieving, you've got logistics to take care of. How did you manage that period of life?
The shock gives you adrenaline and exhaustion like you'd never experienced before. Like, all at the same time. You have both. It's so weird. So I was like on it. And it was so weird. Like, I'm 41 years old. I should not be picking out a casket. Like, this is wrong.
Yeah.
And probably the very worst thing wasn't losing my husband. It was having to tell my children that they lost their dad. Mm-hmm. And I dreaded that all day long. My mom had slept over the night before, and, that night that he had passed away. And in the morning, they're like, why is Grandma here? I'm like, oh, she just came over to hang out with me. Because we had all these things to do to get ready. Yeah. And I just waited to tell them till after. My whole family came over, and I had to take a nap after the florist or the cemetery or something. And I woke up, and I said, you can bring the kids in. So they brought the kids in, and they all stood at the door of my bedroom. And, all I did that day was, just pray that I would have the right words to tell them, and then, of course they were sad, and they were little. They didn't really understand.
And confused, I would imagine.
Confused. Yeah. And then it got really hard because I'm not the only one grieving. Yeah. Right? Like, it's not like, okay, I'm strong. I could deal with my own grief. But now I got little ones that can't understand. Like, my daughter would be crying. She's like, how can Daddy breathe underground?
Yeah.
Right? Like, they don't get it.
So complicated.
And what happens is, at every growth stage they go at, they have to reconcile in a new way with the new information they have. Mm-hmm. So a year later, I'm still helping them through their understanding.
Yeah, that's really tough. That's really tough. So how did you keep going even during the times when you just didn't feel like you could? What kept you going during that time?
Well, my 2 closest friends swooped in. There's friendship. Here's the women in the friendship, right? Yeah. Swooped in, and they're like, anything you need. Mm-hmm. And they gave me things I didn't even know I needed. They did things for me. So my best friend, who is a ridiculously talented, she owns a boutique luxury interior design firm, and she flew up. She's in the East Coast of Florida, and she flew up, and she picked out colors, and they painted my house, and they just brought color into my life because we needed something, and they brought calm, and they brought peace in the colors that they chose. And I remember my 5-year-old said, Mommy, this room feels so good. I just want to stay in it. Oh, wow. Right. So they cooked, they hung out. They didn't come right when he died. They, I said, give it a little space. Yeah. Give it a month. And when all that dies down, and then I'm really alone and I need it. Yeah. We went out to my cottage, and she brought the paint colors, and she's an artist, a fine artist as well. And she had them each paint a canvas, which actually hung in that house until I sold it 20 years later. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. And just did healing things with them as well. Yeah. It was really, a wonderful lifting from those 2 women. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you hear so many times that people grieve so differently. And because everybody's responding to grief differently, I think the community around that person is always a little nervous to, well, how do I support, right? How
Right.
do we support in a way that feels right for that person? Or how can we predict what the right type of support is? So, what advice do you have for someone, not the grieving person, but someone that's knows someone that's grieving? Is there any advice you would give?
Yes. So you're right. It's hard to predict how will
Yeah,
they take this.
right.
Like if someone says, "Oh, I'm sorry," and they don't want to be pitied,
Yeah.
or
Right, or
so
you give them a gift and that's not
and
it's
they're
not
yeah,
helpful
or
or
it's not helpful,
yeah,
or maybe they want they're private and they don't want it to be continue,
yeah,
or maybe they're trying to run away from their grief, so they want to just move past it really fast,
yeah, yeah,
right? So I would say ask, just
yeah,
ask, how can I support you best? I
yeah,
want to be here for you. I'm here anytime. Please don't be afraid to ask and
yeah,
whatever you need.
right,
But ask them like what would support you? Do you want me to make you meals?
yeah,
Or do you want me to come clean your house?
yeah,
Do you want me to, take you out for dinner? Do you want me to walk silently alongside you in the woods?
yeah.
What can I
I
do?
like that, the way you're framing that, because you're not saying, I think, "Let me know if you need anything," is sort of over here, but
Right.
when you give a list of options, I think that's really good advice because you're giving them they can't even think straight, right? So they
Right.
don't really know what would be helpful, and they can't think of, "Oh, a fruit basket would be great." But if you give them choices, 4 or 5 different things, maybe one of those would resonate. So I love that
Yeah.
suggestion. I think that's really helpful. So, was there anything that surprised you during that time with those friends about the friendship in general? Did that shift the friendship? Did it make you see them in a different light? How were your thoughts on that community during that time?
Well, my best friend, who is still my best friend, the one on the East Coast, I just came back from her house yesterday, spent 5
Nice,
days with her.
nice.
She she didn't surprise me because I knew
Yeah,
I mean,
she's been
she's just
around.
that
Yeah,
person. She's always been a generous, loving, giving number one fan of me.
yeah,
So she's like, anything you need, anything,
yeah, yeah.
and she knows me enough to know what I needed.
Right.
I had another friend who was um a a decent friend, but what happened through that is she swooped in and we became so super close in a way that I didn't even see coming.
Yeah,
And we just created this real easy, fun friendship.
yeah,
And it started because she swooped in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like a lot of the things that helped you during that time were distractions or things that, made you enjoy that time with your kids and your home. Instead of just being home alone and being lonely and sad, it was kind of like bringing a little bit of joy into this sad space. Would you agree?
Yeah. What happened is, when you're trying to manage a life around an alcoholic, it takes a lot of time and energy. And I had just been freed up of
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
So, like, this is wild. I went to a grief group and I was about 2 months after I lost my husband. And we're introducing them ourselves. And one person says, I'm, Jim and my wife died 10 years ago.
Wow.
And, I'm Marianne and my husband died 12 years ago. I'm Pete and my wife died 9 years ago.
Wow.
And I'm like, I'm Linda and my husband died 2 months ago. And I thought to myself in that moment, I will not be in this grief group 9, 10, and 12 years from now. No way.
Yeah.
So, and I actually said, this is way before I was a life coach. So it's like, but it was like a little inkling. I actually said to them, I said, well, without that relationship, yes, we're in loss, but we've also been given space.
Yeah.
And maybe we take this opportunity to discover who we are as individuals instead of who was I as a wife, right? Who am I? Who am I? Because I had never stopped to ask myself that question. So many people don't.
Right.
And so I took that time to discover who I was and use that to create a new normal for me and my children.
Yeah.
And in doing so, I was like, darn, I am so strong.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know it. Like we have this untapped magnitude of strength. Like I honestly don't think our situations and difficulties make us stronger. I think they reveal the strength we have.
Yeah.
We didn't even know we had until we have to draw on it. And they're like,
Yeah.
whoa, look at that.
Yeah. 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 I think that's so true. I think sometimes it's almost like a stamina the amount of strength that we have is the amount that we're giving each and every day. And then when a crisis happens, our stamina, we don't have a choice. It has to increase in order to have the capacity to deal with whatever crisis we're in the middle of, right? And so then when you come out on the other side, you're like, wow, before this is how much I was doing or handling. And now during that, now I see that my capacity is much higher. And it's interesting that you commented on, life with an alcoholic looked like this. And now I don't actually have to do that dance anymore.
Right.
And so, although I'm a grieving mother and I've got these 3 small children, it's life is different now. And now I can, sort of heal in a different way. And so then what was the next phase in your life? It sounds like this is where the shift comes in for you.
Right. So, this is a little fun. So I had been working at a job that I loved. I was a project manager in an IT department, and it was, fancy office or whatever. So it was a beautiful job. And then the landscape started changing at work, which happens to so many people, where leadership changes and things change. And you're like, I do not love this anymore. What just happened?
Yeah.
So what was happening to me is I was starting to physically deteriorate. And like, I was in pain that I couldn't actually sleep through, like from the top of my neck to down to my knees in the back, like my whole back was very just rigid. I mean, and if you think about it metaphorically, it was the weight I was bearing, right? The weight of being a single mom, the weight of, I got to raise these kids alone, which is not actually true, but that's my thoughts at the time.
Yeah.
The responsibility, if they turn out all messed up, that's on me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. And I'm the single only breadwinner, and I got to make this work. Right. And also digestively, everything was a mess. They want to take my gallbladder out. But again, metaphorically, I was not able to digest life.
Yeah.
So I was shopping in a bookstore for Christmas gifts for people my stepdad always loved to read. And here's this, when a new book comes out, like there's the whole tower and all the books are top to bottom. So here's this book by Martha Beck. And it says, Finding Your Own North Star, Claiming the Life You're Meant to Live. And I go, right. I want to claim the life I'm meant to live. And this book made so much difference. I'm reading it. I'm reading it and reading it and reading it and reading it and reading it. And I can't wait. I'm like, who is this Martha Beck person?
Yeah.
Like, and how does she know so much about me? Right. In chapter 6, when that question comes to me. And so I go on her website and I'm like, oh, I don't need a therapist. I need a coach.
Yeah.
Because a therapist's job is to get you from sick to well.
Mm-hmm.
And a life coach's job is to get you from well to peak performance.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't have a diagnosable. I don't actually have depression. As sad as it was, I was healing, and it was very different. I would not, and yes, there's some anxiety in life, but mine was not diagnosable, right? So I just needed a coach. So I'm looking on, she has a directory. It's still there. I'm actually on her directory because I trained with her to become a certified life coach and a master certified life coach. So I did 2 trainings with her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, find a coach. So I'm looking for a coach in my area because way back then in 2009,
Locally,
this would have been.
Yeah.
I thought it had to be local, and you'd go sit on their couch like you did with the therapist. I didn't know what the model was. And this was pre-Zoom, everybody. There was no Zoom.
Right.
So I'm looking and I can't find a coach in my area. So I'm about to close the browser tab, and up by that X in the corner, it says, become a coach. There's a link. Okay. So at that time, the lightning bolt came down, that hit me on one side of the head. The cartoon boxing glove came out from the wall, the other side, that hit me on the other side of my head. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be a coach. What is a coach? I don't know, but I'm supposed to be one. So
wow.
I had never actually had a true epiphany. Like, I felt it head to toe. It was like this energy wave. I was like, oh my God, I'm meant to be a coach.
Yeah. It's like a calling.
It was totally,
it
found me.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was. And it found me.
So what did you do?
So I leapt. Well, 6 days later, I had, invested a hefty sum.
Yeah.
For the training.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't like, oh, well, I'll train and see if I want to do it. Right. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be a coach.
Yeah.
So I invest in this training.
So you didn't hire a coach first?
No, I didn't.
You just went right into the training.
I went right into the training. It's just, I went by instinct and gut. Our instincts are always right, whether you listen to them or not.
Yeah.
They're always right.
That's true. That's true.
So I just did it. So now I'm about 2 months into this training. But I got to tell you, when you work until 6 o'clock at night and you get home, like I had a nanny
So
at
you
home.
still had your job?
I still had my job, and I'd get home and my nanny would make dinner, but she was like 19. So,
Yeah.
right.
Right.
Imagine the
Yeah.
mess, imagine
Yeah.
the level of taste,
Yeah.
in the kitchen. It was just such a mess.
Yeah.
And then I come, the kids were like, mom, mom, mom,
Yeah.
mom, mom,
Yeah.
mom, mom.
We need
And I
you.
tried to stagger their bedtimes so I could spend like half an hour with them.
Yeah.
Right, half an hour with my youngest,
Yeah.
then put her to bed. Then half an hour with the middle guy, then put him to bed.
That's
Then
a
half an hour
lot.
with the oldest,
You're
put him
doing
to
a
bed.
lot.
And my oldest has ADHD, and so do you think he has patience to wait for me?
Yeah.
He's always like right
Not
in the mix,
happening.
right?
Yeah.
And so I finally get him on bed by 9. I'd pull out my books. I'm like, I got to study. I'm learning a new craft. I'm
Yeah.
learning the tools. I've got to be on phone calls. So I got to get a babysitter and go to Panera to be on the phone calls to learn how to coach. Right. I'm doing all that. And I'm just so exhausted. And I was like, I got to quit my job. I got to quit. It wasn't fulfilling anymore. I found myself getting later and later. I was supposed to be there at 8, it'd be like 10 to 9 by the time I showed up.
Yeah.
I just couldn't get my butt there.
Yeah. You're just stretched too thin.
I was stretched way too thin. And I was also still teaching aerobics. So
Yeah.
it was just too much.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's all got to go. It's all
Yeah.
got to give. I'm supposed to be moving forward in this way. So I quit my very high paying job in Buffalo, New York, because I was making a lot of money at the time in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
And I just went out on a limb. And I think it's Anais Nin who says, the bird goes out on the limb, not because it trusts the limb not to break, but because it trusts its wings to fly.
Oh, I love
That's
that.
what I did.
Yeah.
Because I was a single mom and I quit the paycheck
Yeah.
to go back to school to become a what the heck is a life coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did that teach you about yourself?
Well, I thought about it and I thought, when I graduated college, I was younger and stupider.
Yeah.
And look what I had already amassed.
Yeah.
And look at what I had created.
Yeah.
I'm older, more experienced. And
Right.
now I know how strong I am. I could do this again.
Right.
So I bet on myself.
Yeah.
Right. But probably what was the tipping factor was I was so physically in pain and emotionally and mentally unfulfilled.
Yeah.
And I thought, what kind of an example am I for my children if I stick out the martyr?
Yeah.
Right? Like I want them to know when life's not going in the right direction, you stop and you course correct. You just do it. You trust yourself and you course correct.
Yeah.
That legacy of leaving that to them is the most important legacy I could leave.
Yeah.
So that's the tipping point. That's why I quit my job.
Yeah. Yeah. I love what you said about self-trust. I'd like to move into that a little bit. And I think also, I really think that having kids, having a family, having a mortgage, those adult responsibilities puts you in a position where you don't have a choice. You have no option to fail, right? And so talk about not having the option to fail with the position that you were in, with all of your life situation, but also how that feeds into self-trust and self-confidence and what you believe about your capabilities.
Well, I would say that when you go through coaching or learning how to coach, either we had to be coached as we were learning how to coach.
Right.
You recognize that your mindset determines your reality. So if I had undertaken that, leap from a place of fear, it probably wouldn't have worked.
Right.
Right. So to say like, I have to make a paycheck. So I really got to get this going. I got to make it a really good business. I got to, right. If I had done that through fear, I'm sure it wouldn't have worked.
Right.
And that wasn't also the example I want to set for my kids. So I gave myself the grace to suck at it at first.
Yeah.
Learn, grow, become who I was becoming.
Yeah.
And trust that if the universe picked me to have this vocation, that I had to trust the universe to put me with the people and bring me the clients who are meant to be working with me.
Yeah.
The ones I was meant to be walking along through that jungle of unknown with them.
Yeah.
Right. So it was much more trust plus, I'd been in business for a lot of years.
Yeah.
So I had trusted myself that I would get business, know the business end of it. And some of it I did know very well. What I didn't know was online marketing, because that wasn't a thing that I had to do in my old jobs.
Yeah.
So I did have to do a lot more learning. There was a big learning curve beyond just the coaching. The coaching was the easy part for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's a quotable, what you said a minute ago, where you said something like, I gave myself permission that I'm going to suck at first. Like that, I think that's life changing because, when you start something new and the expectation is that you're going to be good at it, then you're disappointed. And that's where the confidence drops. But if you can just be at peace with the fact that you're going to suck at first,
Hmm.
whatever
Yep.
it is. And entrepreneurship is different from being in the corporate world. When you have your own business, you're responsible for the entire package. When you work for someone else, you do your little job and then you go home and you don't have much to worry about after that. So it is a huge shift when you have to market, when you have to communicate, when you have to have your website, when you have all of those other things that are involved in running it by yourself. It sure changes everything. And good job for you for doing all that. So where was the part where you started to feel like, okay, I'm actually going to be okay. I'm going to make this happen and I'm going to make this work.
Well, I would say maybe it's because I trusted the universe, but it brought me wonderful, amazing clients. It brought me one client who has single-handedly brought me 6 or 8 more
Oh, wow.
because and I asked him one day, I go, "What do you tell people about me when you send them?" He goes, "Oh, I don't tell them anything about you." I'm like, "Well, how do they get to connect with me then?" And he says, I know when someone's feeling like I was and wants to totally level up into their gifts.
Yeah.
And I see that in them, and I ask them if they're willing to try something they might not have thought of. He
Oh,
said, and if they say yes, because they trust me, he says,
right.
I say, I'm going to buy you a session with Linda.
Oh, that's
So that's what he
great.
does.
So he
Yeah.
gives them the first
He
session, which
gives
is
them the first
great.
session.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that gets the
And then
door
they're
open.
like, I want more. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So go back a little bit to when you were training to be a coach. I'm curious because I'm not a coach. When you're going through the training process and you have to be coached, are you being coached by your fellow students, or how does that look?
You're mostly being coached by your fellow students who also don't know what they're doing.
Right?
So a lot of scabs come off and they
Yeah.
stay exposed. Um, but a lot of coaching programs will suggest, and some require, some like I think some of the ICF ones, International Coaching Federation certifications require that you work with a coach.
Okay.
So like I'm a master coach, so I would be one of the
Oh, I
master
see.
coaches that would work it with the trainees. We
Yeah.
call them cadets.
I do
Coaching
hear
cadets.
people talking about a master coach. So what's the
Yeah.
difference between a coach and a master coach?
A lot more training,
Okay.
but
So
not
it's like
just
having a
train.
master's
It's
degree where you've just gone an
Yeah,
extra
but it's
amount of
actually like
training.
when you go through life coach training, and it was a year long, and then I had to sit for an exam and certify, and I also had to actually coach Martha Beck herself,
Yeah.
which is like
And she was Oprah's
she is
coach,
Oprah.
right?
Yeah,
Like
she's
that's
Oprah's
insane.
coach. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I had to coach her and to certify. So that was the first year. You're learning all these tools. Then they won't let you become a master coach until you have a lot more experience, a lot more paid experience. It takes a couple years before. And although they train, I don't know, maybe I don't know, 100 coaches, like every 3 months they run a new cohort with another 100 people in it. They only invite 12 people per year to master coach training.
Oh, wow.
So I got
You got
invited,
selected and
selected.
invited. That's
Yeah,
great.
I applied. I got selected, and that was more. Now you have to do it. So our homework wasn't learning more tools so much. Our homework was go out and give a 1 hour presentation, film yourself, and then we had to all critique everybody's everything. We had to learn how to write for Martha because she's authored, I don't know, 14 books or more,
Yeah.
maybe. She taught us how to write a self-help article. We had to actually shop publishers. Like she had us
Wow.
do things like you have to show up in the world. We had to create an entire retreat,
Yeah.
like down to pricing, down to everything. It was just like you have to be in business as a coach. You have to
That's
show you're
amazing.
in business as a coach. And then we had to spend 5 days with her at the very end before we could certify, which I would akin to like the Survivor show where you're like, or naked and afraid of something. I was like, I thought it was like, where you're like, oh, I'm finishing my master. I am the shit, right?
Right?
But then you get
Now
there,
you're stripped down.
and then Martha's like, you coach her, and she would say something like, a you know a true coach doesn't make smoke, they make fire. Like if you're in the woods and you're rubbing the sticks together.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I'm setting my timer for 5 minutes. And you're like,
Oh my
so
gosh.
now you've got to make a difference in someone's
like in front
life
of people.
in 5 minutes in front of an audience.
Yeah.
Right. So there was so much that we had to do. And then I didn't realize that I still had a big, giant thing to get through. And the fact that I got through it informs my work 100% today. I still had that I'm not enough feeling. I didn't know it was there. It was hidden.
The
It was all pushed
self-talk.
down. Right.
Yeah.
I still had like, because I'm listening to all these other people coach and I'm like, they're so much better than me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is not true, but that's, that's that insecurity.
Yeah.
And I had to do a lot of inner work.
Yeah.
But now when like a good coach walks her talk, when there's crap in your head, you sit down with your pad, you like take 3 hours, you self-coach, you get through that. You do not just like push it away. You do it.
Yeah.
And I did so much work. And what I'm going to tell you is maybe a little controversial to some people, but at the end, Martha's like a trained sociologist with a Harvard PhD. And if I get that wrong, Martha, I'm so sorry.
We'll look her up.
Yeah, she said something like at our final dinner, she said the so-and-so tribe, when they transform from one place to another, they take a new name.
Oh.
So I'm going to go around the table, put you on the spot. What's your new name? And I had done so much inner work that trip because I felt so inadequate.
Yeah.
Those last 5 days that when she came to me, it just came out of my mouth. And I actually leaned in as if I had a microphone and I go, just as much Jesus.
Oh, look at you go.
And she's like, explain. That actually sounds a lot like her. And I said, I didn't realize till I got here that I thought I was less than. Like, I didn't know that.
Oh.
And what I discovered through my own work, and I'm giving myself credit because for my own work, is I am just as much. I'm just as much everyone at this table.
Yeah.
I'm just as much this person, that person, Martha. I'm just as much you. My experiences are different, but I have the same amount of capacity.
Yeah.
To have I have gifts just like you. I'm just as much.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just as much a teacher.
Yeah.
I'm just as much an inspiration. I'm just as much a great coach. And I knew it. And she goes, oh, okay. And if she cared or not, it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, it's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. I get chills because, I think that we all feel that way. But oftentimes we feel that way because we're just new at something, and that's the only reason. But, the voices in our head are so powerful, and they can sabotage you from moving forward. And so to push through that, good job for doing that. I'm obsessed with Mel Robbins, and one of the things she's focusing on her most recent podcast is the word jealousy. And she's saying that jealousy is an indicator that you need to pay attention to the thing or the person that you're jealous of, because it's what you want. It's what you want. Sure. It's like, it's a guide to, well, if you're jealous of these other people in the room and their skill set, you're going in that direction, and pay attention. And so you'll get there. It's just, you're jealous because you want it so bad.
Right. Every emotion is an email. It's got information for you.
Yeah.
Every single emotion.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's shift to sort of lessons for women. And what do you want women to know right now if they're feeling like they're living the wrong life for them?
Okay. If you feel like you're living the wrong life, and you know it, the opportunity is right there. So that's such good news. If you know it's the wrong life, you already have an inkling of just how worthy you are. And that's aware. Like, you're aware of there's some level of worthiness. Now, all the work I do with worthiness, which is with every client ever, they start at a percent. Like, what percent worthy do you feel? And they're like, 47 or 72%.
Yeah.
But if you recognize you've been settling and you're like, I'm worthy of something more. I want something more. That means you're worthy of something more. So that's huge. So I say congratulations.
Yeah.
Woo, right there.
Yeah.
So the things I would want a woman to know is it's possible. Right. Because you can look around and see other people have done it. So if it's possible, the beautiful thing about that is once you believe something is possible, your brain will ask this magic question of how. Because if you don't think, if you're down, I have this thing I call the belief continuum.
Yeah.
At one end.
Right.
There's like impossible, not bloody likely.
No way.
Fly,
Yeah.
No way. It can't happen. That can't happen. You will never ask how. But once you believe something's possible, your brain will be like, how? And we're all pretty smart.
Yeah.
We're like, how? How did he do it? How did she do it? How might I do it?
Mm-hmm.
How might it be done? So how is a magic question. So as long as you can get yourself to how, if you recognize it's possible, you can get to how, then you can do a few more things, which I would like to share, to get you down that belief continuum that a totally different life that is about you and for you is at the very end of the corridor. And so as you move down that corridor, you get to like, well, it's likely. Oh, it's probable.
Yeah.
It's inevitable.
Right.
And at the very end, there's not even a door. There's just wide open and all this light, and it's already done.
Yeah.
So how do you get yourself to that belief of it's already done?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what you do is you look back at those circumstances of your life that you have been fusing your identity to, right? I am a widow. I am a chemotherapy survivor. I am a single mom, right? Those are labels and those are identities, but that's not really what our identity is.
Yeah.
So if you can discover who you are outside of roles and responsibilities and circumstances, that's how you move forward. And one of the best ways to do it is to retell your story, your history, from the hero's perspective instead of the victim's perspective. Because the victim says, this happened to me. And the hero says, when this happened, here's how I responded. So when I say, when I had 3 miscarriages, right, after the chemo, I went to a fertility specialist. That's how I responded. And when those doctors gave up 5 years later, I didn't. I sought out international adoption, right? When my husband died, I created a new normal. So I'm not saying this happened to me. I'm saying, here's my response. Here's what I did. And that's how we find the hero within. And once we find the hero within, now we're in different shoes. Now we're like, oh, how do I move forward as her now, as she, as who I am?
Yeah.
Because now you're learning so much about who you are. You're repairing your sense of worthiness. You're retelling your story from the hero's perspective. That's how you get down to the end of that. It's already done. And then you start aligning your life with who you find. It's about alignment, which means letting go of things that don't work for you, that don't match who you are now, and moving in the direction of love. It's always moving in the direction of love.
Yeah.
Love and fear can't coexist
in
the same moment.
Yeah. I feel like from our last conversation that you and I had, that this is kind of like the key to your coaching program. So to unpack it just a little, like if you were going to give a woman an assignment to do this activity that you're talking about, because I sometimes feel like I'm still in that place of all these things that have happened to me. So I would love to sit down and do this exercise where I reframe the history of my life into the hero version. So how would you give that assignment? What would you say? Sit down and get out your journal. What?
Okay. So
I know it's going to be so easy.
Right. Well, it was such a profound change with me that I actually gave a whole keynote around it at a mental health conference a number of years ago. And then it was so well received. I made a product, like a DIY product on my website.
Nice.
So, which anyone's welcome to get.
Yes. We have to give that.
That's excellent. So that's just like 3 7-minute videos. And after each video, you do a couple of worksheets.
Yeah.
So you can
love
do
the
it.
homework. The homework is where the magic happens.
And if you will take an hour and a half and not go ahead, don't watch the second video till you do the first.
Yeah.
Take an hour and a half, or like say this weekend, here's what I'm doing. Give it attention. Don't spread it way out. You will make that transformation from victimville into like, I'm the hero.
Yeah.
Right? So if you want to do that, you can give people the link to actually watch the videos and get the actual workbooks. But what I would say is just, you're really going to bullet point how you've been telling your story historically. And then you're going to set a powerful intention. If it takes anger, that's how it was for me.
Yeah.
A powerful intention. You're going to recognize that it can be done. So you can ask how, and you don't have to know the whole way, right? It's like when you are driving like across the state, right? You don't know the whole path of how you're going to get to where you are. The streets are very familiar when you start, but then at some point you just have to trust that GPS. It's unfamiliar. And until you arrive at that location, your GPS says you have arrived, you don't know if you're in the right place or wrong. You just have to trust.
Right.
So it's the same thing. When you say like, how might I? It's just the beginning. That's all you need to know is the very beginning.
Yeah.
And one of the big things along the way, like the homework, the first homework really is to retell that story.
Yeah. Which can probably be uncomfortable, right?
When you're telling it the current way,
Yeah.
it's very uncomfortable because
Yeah.
it will throw you back in.
Yeah,
Like,
you don't want to
poor
face
me.
those emotions and all of
Right,
that.
right.
Yeah.
And I will tell you normally, like, as a coach, I let people tell their story one time, but I'm like, why do we want to relive those
Right.
emotions? We're
Yeah.
not going back. We're
Right.
going forward.
Right.
So now you only go back so that you can get it all out.
Right.
And if you say to yourself, that's once and for all, I'm not telling that story ever again. I don't care who asks. That story is not coming out of my mouth unless you're on an interview.
Right. Of course. Thank
The
you.
real story is the hero story.
Yeah.
So just in the retelling, you'll already have moved a giant leap. Even if you haven't repaired your sense of worthiness, which I get is not something people can usually do on their own. They usually need to work with someone for that.
Yeah.
But it is a giant leap because you see yourself differently.
Yeah.
You see yourself, you see your power, you see your strength.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, wow. Holy cow, wait a minute, right?
Yeah.
And it also does something very freeing. It helps you stop villainizing others.
Yeah.
Because if you're the victim and if they're the villain, you're the victim.
Yeah.
And neither one of those work for
Yeah.
moving forward. You cannot live the life you're here to live, giving your gifts to the people you're here to give them to, if you feel at all like a victim.
Yeah.
And if you're villainizing someone, like, you will always be the victim no matter how you rewrite your story. So part of that is seeing that past for that had to happen to me because it happened for me.
Mm-hmm.
And those players were put in my life so that I could have this realization of how strong I am.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what would you say to women who are ready to make this change? What's the first step they need to do in order to go down the path of, maybe someone's never been to a life coach before? What would be your advice?
Well, anyone who can get on the phone with me, I don't charge to be on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
I want to genuinely help people. And I trust the universe will inspire people who are meant to work with me. I am not salesy. I'm not graspy. Everyone there's a coach for everybody, put it that way. And I'm not the coach for everybody. I'm the coach for certain people.
Yeah.
So I would say you can get on the phone with me. And once I understand, what you're ready for, because readiness is huge. If you're not ready, that's okay. Just be where you are. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
But if you're ready to make the journey, which is so not as scary as you think it is.
Yeah.
If you're ready to make the journey and I'm not the right coach for you, I will put you in touch with someone who is.
Yeah.
I know a lot of coaches. I've been doing this for 16 years.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I'm a huge believer in life coaching. I've been to therapy. I've been to a life coach. I've definitely made more progress with a life coach because I do think there is a time and a place for therapy where maybe it's your first time addressing any of the issues that you have in your history of your childhood and things like that. I think that's the place for, in my opinion, I'm not a professional, but that was kind of where, you sort through the things that happened in your way last past when you were little. But the life coaching for me, it gives you tools, it gives you forward thinking, it gives you application, it reframes the voices in your head so that you can start to move in a different direction from where you are feeling so stagnant in this place. And when I had my life coach, I had I think 3 or 4 different journals, like a gratitude journal and a goal journal and a reframe your mindset journal and affirmations. And so it was like this stack. And I would sit on my patio table for 2 hours every single night, writing in all those journals. And she told me, the more you do this, the faster you will progress. And it can feel like work at the beginning, but when you start to see the results, the fruits of your labor, and your life starts to feel better, it really is incredible.
It is incredible. I do give homework.
Yeah.
I call it growth activities.
Yes.
And they often are journaling.
Yeah.
Because it's like I mentioned, a coach is like a personal trainer.
Yes.
Does a personal trainer lift your weights for you? No, you've got to lift the weight.
Right.
You've got to get on that treadmill.
Right.
So that's why we assign, not all coaches, but I do.
Yeah.
We assign journaling.
Yeah.
We assign just listening. I have some word substitutions that I help people to just change forever. You never say again, I can't.
Yeah.
You say, I choose not to.
Right.
Because can't feels like you're shackled.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Choose not to focuses on freedom.
Yeah.
And it feels much more open. And it's empowering.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't deny it.
those are the
Right.
words that we need, is the empowering words that get,
Mhm.
I think so much of our problems are problems, at least mentally, come from giving away our power and not feeling in control. And,
Right.
again, with the personal trainer, what if you only went to the personal trainer once a week and you did nothing the other
Right.
days,
Exactly. It
then
wouldn't
you're
work.
like still in there, so lifting the same 10-pound weights, you're not making any progress because you have
Right.
to build the muscle, whether it's in your mind or in your physical body
Right.
in between.
Yeah. And you'll find most life coaches don't do a one session.
Right.
It's,
The
I work with my
series.
clients between 3 and 5 months, and
Yeah.
then we graduate you if you'd like to be graduated. If not, we can wean,
Yeah.
to twice a month or once a month,
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of people do like say it's like maintenance. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, so I got my car fixed. Doesn't mean I'm not going to get the oil changed. I'm
Right?
still going to do maintenance.
Right.
So, my clients will come back like every couple months. We'll just have a maintenance session.
That's good.
And they'll be like, I don't know what we're going to talk about. Everything's good. And then 5 minutes later,
It
we're in
all
the thick
comes
of
out.
something. Yeah. We're in the thick, and they're learning something new
Yeah.
every time. And that is a difference also between a coach and a therapist. Coaches are allowed, we're allowed to teach.
Yeah.
We're allowed to give you a tool you will have the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Which is different.
I
Now, my
love that.
daughter is getting her doctorate in therapy, a PsyD it's called.
Yeah.
And we talk shop a lot.
Yeah.
And it's a very different model, what she's
Different.
allowed to do and not allowed to do.
Yeah.
And I can do anything.
Yeah.
I
It's a
want.
lot more listening, it seems,
And
it's a lot more
reflecting
reflecting.
back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and they move intentionally because of the illnesses that she's working with, intentionally at a snail's pace. You might be able to tell from my personality, I am not a
Yeah.
snail's pace
Yeah.
person.
And someone
Yeah.
that wants to go forward will get frustrated with that
Right.
pace, I think. I
Yeah.
mean, it just depends. But, well, where can people find you? This has been so amazing. I love talking to you.
Right. Well, just go to my website. It's lindabucher.com, and that's
Okay.
LindaBucher.com.
Okay.
On it, there's all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a freebies page.
Yeah. Is that where the activity is?
No, because that one's not a freebie.
Okay.
That's
So
on
you'll
the
send me the link
programs.
and I'll put it in the show notes.
And
Okay.
that's on the program page. There's
Okay.
programs.
Okay.
Also, because that's the only DIY program. The rest are actually working with me.
Yeah.
And
And then you're going to be doing What's Your Story with
Yeah.
Step Into Grace. So you're going to be in person, and we'll put the date in the comments as well. So we
Yeah.
can't wait to hear you share your story and engage with the women in person. And this has just been amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet them. I'm really excited to be able to do that.
Thank you so much
this
for being here. It's been wonderful. We're going to take a quick break and get a few words from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with Sher Canada, our next guest. All right. Welcome back to Step Into Grace. I hope everyone watching loud and clear learned from Linda's story that you don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to stay in a life that doesn't fit for you, and you are allowed to reinvent yourself. You're allowed to find a life that feels true. And speaking of choosing the right step, I'm so excited to introduce our next guest because her story carries a very similar message in a hugely powerful way. Our next guest is Sher Canada, and she also has an incredible story of following her heart, walking through challenges that could have stopped her, and still finding her way to success. Sher's story is proof that the hard seasons don't get the final word. That when you keep showing up and when you keep believing, when you keep listening to that inner pull, you can build a life that you're proud of, even when the road to get there wasn't easy. So if you've ever wondered, is it too late for me? Or what if I'm not strong enough? Or how do I even start over? You are going to love this next conversation. So I'm honored to welcome you here to Step Into Grace live show. Welcome, Sher Canada, the owner of She Can Love and author,
Hello.
best-selling author.
Yes.
We're so excited.
Check.
That's right. That's right. So Cher and I have known each other for some time, and she's a powerhouse here in Naples, making a difference in the community. And I'm so happy to have her here today. Cher, for women who are meeting you for the first time, who are you and what are you building right now?
Well, that's a great
Tell us a
question.
little about yourself.
Okay. I am, my name's Sher Canada. And I took the first three letters of my first name, SHE, and the first three letters of my last name, CAN. Like, who gets a name like that? And it's on my license plate
I love it.
because I'm 65 years old and every day I get to start all new again.
Mhm.
And, I hear women so often, oh, I'm too old for that. Or, oh, that ship has sailed.
Mhm.
The ship hasn't sailed, lady.
Right.
The ship is just waiting for you to get on it.
Yes.
And to recreate whatever kind of life that you want to create.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at. And I want to inspire every woman today that may be in a rut or feeling like she's too old
Yeah.
or holy crap, I just went on Medicare. Like I never thought I'd be this old, but I don't act it. I don't feel
No,
it. And
it's the energy.
and it's by design.
Yeah.
It's by design. I decide to wake up that way every day.
Mhm.
And that's how I'm going to live my life.
I
And
love
I want to inspire other women to do the exact same thing.
Yeah. You're like the Madonna who reinvents herself over and over again.
Over and over
Over
and
and
over
over.
again.
Because each time it's just something totally transformative and different,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Okay, so now we have to start at the beginning.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go way back to Nebraska. What did you dream about back then and what was life like for you when you were younger in Nebraska?
Well, I always tell people I'll pay you $1 million if you can guess what nationality I am and what state I'm from.
Right.
Because nobody's ever gotten one right.
I can't imagine Nebraska.
I'm from Nebraska and a population 1,275.
Wow.
We have one stoplight. I went to country school. I had two people in my class until sixth grade. We had the desks with the holes in it for the ink.
Yes.
Like I was Laura Ingalls.
Oh my gosh.
I got my first Shetland pony when I was 3. I can ride a horse bareback like a crazy person.
That's so amazing.
My dad worked for a veterinarian, so I've castrated bulls. I've cut cattle. All my girlfriends working at Dairy Queen. I made 3 times as much money cutting cattle.
Wow.
For my dad. So it was a very interesting way to grow up.
Yeah, it's
And
just like such a humble beginning, such a simple life,
yes,
right?
very, very simple, but it totally grounds you.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm going home this weekend. Well, hopefully I'm going to go home
Yeah.
this weekend. I don't know what the weather happening,
Yeah.
but I love going back to Nebraska because it reminds me what's important and family.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, so you grow up in Nebraska. This is a very simple life. I mean, I actually lived on a farm for a while. And one thing I learned about living on a farm is there's a lot of drama living on a farm. Like there's always something going on with the animals,
always,
right?
always.
Okay. So what happened after Nebraska? What was your next step in life?
Well, my biggest move, probably, and the gutsiest move I probably ever made, the gutsiest move I've ever made was I went to University of Nebraska first year
Okay.
and majored. I wanted to be a psychiatrist, I thought.
Okay.
And I got through the first half of the year and I thought, this is really boring.
Yeah.
And this is not what I
Not
want to
for
do.
me.
So I'm reading Vogue magazine and I see the advertisement for this private school in Miami.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, that's where I want to go. So I come home, I tell my mom and
Easy
dad,
as pie.
yeah, sure. I come home, tell my mom and dad to sit down. They're like, oh no, I'm the oldest. So they never really knew what I was gonna,
Buckle up.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, Mom and Dad, I don't belong here. They're like, okay, where do you belong?
Yeah.
I said, well, I found this private school in Miami. It's all about fashion merchandising. I want to be in fashion. I love it. I live for it. And they're like, honey, we can't afford to send you there.
Yeah.
And I said, don't worry. I'll work 3 jobs if I have to. You just pay me what you were paying me for the University of Nebraska and I'll figure out the rest. They're like, how are you going to get there? And I said, well, my 67 Chevy. So I got in my car, Julie.
Crazy.
And drove to Miami.
Yeah.
And never looked back.
Yeah.
And it was the most amazing experience of my life. And I wasn't even afraid. And I should have been.
I know.
I mean,
know.
it was dangerous in Miami
It's
then.
crazy.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
This was 1978, 79, 80. 80. We had to stay below window level a couple of times because of the shootings going around. And it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I worked 3 jobs. I mean, I've pumped gas. I sang in a band. I worked in retail. I did everything to, figure it out.
Yeah.
If you want it bad enough, you can figure it out.
Yeah. And I think that young brain has something to do with it too. When we're college age, nothing's going to stop us if we decide we want to do something good or bad, right? We're going to make that happen. And so I did some similar things when I was that same age. And I look back now thinking that was insane. My poor parents.
Insane. Insane.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So what was it like once you got there, and tell us about University of Miami and kind of what?
Well, I didn't go to University of Miami. It's called Botter Fashion College.
Okay.
It doesn't exist anymore, but it was a private merchandising school.
I see.
All the girls there were rich.
Yeah.
Most of them were from New York. Most of them were taking the modeling curriculum.
Right.
And the first night I was there, I took my roommate to the hospital because she overdosed on Quaaludes.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't even know what
that is. Yeah.
I had no idea. My other roommate was smoking pot. I had only seen that in the horse pasture. Like, I am so naive.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at them like, who are these women?
Yeah.
So I had 6 roommates. So that was, can you imagine moving someplace, first of all, and then being so out of your element?
Yeah.
And then but I was one of the only ones that had a car.
Yeah.
So I became like
the driver.
The favorite person. And then Crandon Beach is down at the end on the causeway in Miami. And I ended up getting a lifeguard for a boyfriend. So I became the most popular girl in school because when they got off work, he would come and bring all of his lifeguard friends to where we lived. We all lived in condos right on Brickell, right?
Yeah,
we were on Brickell Avenue. That's where we lived. So I was everybody wanted to be my best friend because I knew all the lifeguards. So it was the greatest time of my life. It was like living the dream.
Yeah. Did you ever feel at the beginning, before all of that, did you ever feel out of place or unsure if you made the right decision when you first got there?
No.
You just knew this is what you wanted to do.
It was happening so fast and so furious. And I was an okay student before.
Yeah.
I was Dean's List.
Yeah.
I caught into a curriculum that I was interested in.
Yeah.
My mother always said, honey, you're not applying yourself. You're not applying yourself. And I was like, yes, I am. I thought I was. I wasn't.
Yeah.
Because I just wasn't interested.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about fashion. What was the draw for you? Why was it interesting? How did you sort of even discover fashion living on a farm in Nebraska?
My mom, embarrassingly, I still have pictures of her she made all of her clothes, until we were in 6th grade. So I've got like matching dresses with my sister and little scarves with rickrack. Do you even know what rickrack is?
My mom made my clothes too.
Okay. Like, I'm mortified. So maybe that's what feared me into like doing this for a living. But I just loved it. And I loved reading magazines. I love Vogue. I'd look at every picture and would study TV. And I love to dress women.
Yeah.
I love making women feel beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like my thing.
Yeah.
And I'm
great.
Definitely great at it.
Yeah. So after college, then what happens?
So after college, I didn't graduate.
Okay.
Probably if I could go back and do one thing differently, I probably would have stayed, but my loans were freaking me out.
Yeah.
So I started working at a department store in Nebraska.
Okay.
And then I ended up, the Limited was the place to work, right? So I ended up taking a job in Colorado at the Limited.
Okay.
And I know, you've heard me say, make tripping part of your dance, right?
Yes. Yes.
It's one of my favorite quotes.
Yes.
Well, this is one of my biggest trips. I thought the Limited was going to be the place to go, right?
Yeah.
And because it was just,
It was so hot.
it was
back
so
then.
hot back then.
Yeah.
So I'm living in Denver, Colorado. The snow, I hated Denver. The snow, I mean, it was just ridiculous. I got out of Nebraska for a reason.
Right.
And I'm working there and my business is on fire.
Yeah.
And it's Christmas Eve. And my parents and my brothers and sisters had driven all the way from Nebraska to spend Christmas Eve and Christmas with me. And they had to leave the next day to get back to Nebraska. So I was closing down the store Christmas Eve. Who shows up? Les Wexner, the owner of the Limited. Right.
What?
I was like, oh my God. He goes, I'm on my way to a skiing trip, but I just wanted to see what you were doing. Well, I had not followed the Limited guidelines and I'd switched the store and put the dress department in the rears and put what was selling up in front. So I told him what I did. I was so proud of myself. He left. I got a call 5 minutes later and said, you are staying all night and changing the store back to where it should be.
Oh no.
Yeah.
On Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
Oh,
I was there till 4:00 in the morning.
unbelievable.
While my family
By
was-
yourself?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. So
What a dumb move.
I decided
He
at
should
that
listen to you.
I decided at that point that wasn't the place I wanted to work.
Yeah.
So that was a very, very, very huge lesson for me.
Yeah.
And then I went on and took a job at Brooks Fashions.
So did that change your mindset into I'm doing the wrong thing, or did it change your mindset into I don't ever want to work with someone like that?
That's what it did.
Yeah.
I don't
It
want to work with
motivated you.
people that, here are rules.
Yeah.
And I don't care what the circumstances are, but
Yeah.
we're going to follow them.
Yeah.
It
Good for
doesn't
you.
make any sense.
Yeah.
They were a company where as if you had to use a certain color pen to write, and they would send you an envelope that you had to send in every week. And if you didn't put your stamp and you didn't have your initials inside the circle, you got points deducted. Like, I don't
It's
wanna,
like silly stuff.
I don't want to work a place like
No,
that.
that's silly.
It was
That's
ridiculous.
silly.
It was
That's
just
silly.
all ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so after the Limited, then so how does this shift look here? Now you've decided this isn't the place for me. What next?
Well, I went to work for Brooks Fashions. I was
Okay.
district sales manager in Dallas.
Uh-huh.
So I ended up living
So you moved from Colorado to
Yep,
Dallas.
Had I lived in all these great places.
Yeah.
Was a district sales manager there, doing great, living in Dallas, loved it. And then this company called the Wet Seal
Yes.
calls me.
Oh,
And
love the Wet
everybody
Seal.
spent all their babysitting money.
That's
what
right.
everybody tells me.
That's right.
So I heard about the Wet Seal, didn't know anything about it, interviewed with the then CEO.
Uh-huh.
And he said, Cher, I'd like to hire you and make you the regional. We're going to open up stores all over Florida, all over all over Florida, all over Texas. So I'm going to give you both those regions.
And like, how old were you at this time? Maybe.
I was 28.
Okay, so young.
Yes, young. So I was making $50,000 a year. He hired me because all my girls at Brooks all quit that day and all came to work for me.
Oh my gosh.
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have to go recruit.
Yeah.
Because I already had I had my posse.
Yeah.
And they followed me wherever I went.
Yeah.
And that's like it doesn't get any better than that. So
That's not something you can make out of thin air. You're creating, a culture, a tribe of people that believe in your style of work, what you're doing, and no one can take that away from you.
No.
No.
And so it was the greatest job. We are flying around. We're opening up Dallas Galleria. I've got Tommy Pewitt. He was a little movie teen star at
Yeah.
that time. I got him and his dad. We're flying around on the jet. We're opening up stores. We're doing over $100,000 a day selling denim shorts and scrunchies.
That's insane.
No, the lines were wrapped around the malls.
Yeah.
I mean, it was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Then Ken Chilvers was his name. He was the CEO. And he said, Cher, will you meet me down in Miami? I'm going to promote one of the regionals to vice president. We're going to go public. The other two regionals had been there both 10 years. So I just assumed it would be one of them. I'm now 30 years old.
Mhm.
He sits down with me and looks at me and says, Cher, I'd like to promote you to vice president of stores for the Wet Seal. I'm like, I can remember the day as if it were this morning.
Yeah.
I was in such a state of shock. He said, we'll take you from 50 grand to 100,000.
Wow.
Now, this is 35 years ago.
Yeah.
He said, we'll give you a company car, and you have to move to Newport Beach, California, and drum roll, you have to leave the fiance. I was engaged at the time to a chiropractor in Boca.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And we'd been together quite a while. And
That's quite the offer.
yeah, but in those days you could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine saying that today.
Right.
Right. Lawsuit.
Yeah.
So I looked at him, I leaned back, I took about 30 seconds, I leaned forward and I said, okay, Ken, I'm so honored. I said, I'll take 150. I want a BMW cream with a brown top and share license plates. I'll move to Newport Beach, California, poor me, and I'll drop the fiance.
Oh my God.
So I
No
went
way.
straight home. Dr. Brodkin, I'm so sorry. You know what he said to me?
What?
Cher, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. I would have done the same thing.
Unbelievable.
And he's still not married. So, I mean, we would have never gotten married.
It's the right choice.
And I knew it.
Yeah.
His mother didn't like me anyway. I wasn't
Everyone
Jewish.
knew it, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone knew it but him and me. And so I took off to California.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And it
So
was
being so young, what was your mindset like? Were you, just full on confident? Did you ever have concerns that people wouldn't respect you because you were so young and a woman and all the things that kind of sometimes can go along with that?
never.
Never.
No.
Never.
I have a very outgoing personality.
Yeah.
And I can strike up a conversation with just about anybody.
Yeah.
Well, anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't know why or where I got this no fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have I wish I had the level of confidence that I had when I turned 60. When I turned 60, I went, you know what? Let them.
Yeah.
I follow Mel Robbins. I wish I'd had that book when I was 30.
I know,
like,
right?
where was she when we were 30 years old?
Yeah.
Because if I had known that then, but I worked 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
I've worked 80 hours a week my entire life.
Yeah. And that'll give you the confidence.
Well, when you work that hard,
Yeah.
I put everything I had into it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get married. I didn't want to have children. All I
Yeah.
wanted to do was make money.
It was really your passion and
Yeah.
you were so driven.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like a freak
Yeah.
of driven.
So do you ever have women that come across you in your life that aren't as confident? And do you have any advice or anything? What would you say to a woman that needs a little bit of help in that area?
Find the thing that you can do best
Mm-hmm.
and nail it.
Yeah.
And nail it over and over and over and over again and understand what that feels like.
Yeah.
Because it will continue.
Yeah.
Once you get that feeling and once you understand what that euphoria feels like when
Yeah.
you nail it
Right.
and you get to go, atta girl.
Yeah.
The best pats are from yourself.
Yeah.
When you can go, Cher, that was a great job.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get there.
Right.
But, and I would love to tell any young women that are out there, get there sooner. Don't wait until you're 60 years old
I know.
to have the confidence to be able to do and break out and try some new things
Yeah.
and be afraid. It's okay to be afraid.
Yeah. Just do it anyway.
Do it anyway.
Yeah.
What do you got to lose?
Yeah. So now you have the BMW. You're in Long Beach?
I'm in Newport Beach,
Newport
California.
Beach.
Yep.
Okay. Now what happens?
Opening stores, doing great, working
Okay.
like a crazy person. Everything's wonderful, hanging out there. And all of a sudden,
Did you like the company? Did you like
Oh,
the
yeah.
stores?
the culture was amazing.
Yeah.
My boss is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
He made me read the book Management by Wandering Around.
Okay.
He's probably one of the
I've
smartest.
never heard of that.
It's Tom Peters. It's an
Okay.
old book.
Okay.
So that's how I led my career.
Yeah.
I would show up. I showed up unannounced. I was out there. I was
Checking
on a
on
plane every
everything.
day. And you know what? They always said, Cher, were you trying to find us doing something wrong? I said, no, I'm trying to catch you doing something right.
That's great. That's great.
That's what I was out there doing.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Yeah.
And I convinced those girls just, one day at a time.
Yeah.
We're going to win. We're going to win. And we did. And we won big until Ken didn't want to do it anymore. And he decided to retire. And I got a new boss.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a complete asshole.
Oh, wow.
And I don't work 80 hours for assholes.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first thing
How disappointing.
he walked in to meet me, didn't even shake my hand and said, we got to get rid of the water bottles for the girls. It costs too much, too big of an expense.
Oh.
I said, okay. Hi, I'm Sher Canada. I'm running your company. Nice to meet you.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So I knew that was going to be
Yeah.
trouble. So I started looking
Yeah.
right away
Right.
because I knew the writing was on the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what did your search lead you to?
Well, then an old boss of mine called me, Maury McKenzie. Best boss I've ever had in my life. She is totally amazing. Still one of my greatest friends ever. She lives here in Naples, ended up here. And she called me up and she said, Cher, I'm working for Chico's and I need a regional sales manager to take over half the company. And I went, oh, great, my mother's store.
Yeah.
So I am now going from the coolest store in the mall
Yeah.
to my mother's store.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, oh no. So I flew to Fort Myers, interviewed with her,
Right.
interviewed with the founders, Marvin and Elaine Gralnick, delightful, amazing humans.
Yeah.
And she said, we can't pay you what you're making. We
Yeah.
can pay you 80. And so cut in half.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, okay,
Yeah.
no car, no,
Yeah.
I said, okay. I said, how about 90? She said, okay, we can push it to 90, but we're going to give you stock options.
Oh,
I didn't even know what those were.
right.
I'm
Right.
like, okay, whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. So I took the job, quit the Wet Seal, moved back here to, I lived in Fort Myers for a year.
Yeah.
Thought I'd made the biggest mistake of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I found
What year was that?
Naples.
1996?
1996.
I moved here in 97. So
Yep.
there was like a sleepy town back
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
So, and then I found Naples and I went, you know what? This will
I
work.
can do this.
I can work.
Yeah.
So I bought a little condo on the water and I was like living the dream
Yeah.
and working 80 hours a week again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you in stores with Chico's, or
Yes.
what was your role? What did your role look
I
like?
started out with first regional sales managers, so I had half the country. And then I was doing so well on my side of the business that Maury gave me the whole country.
Yeah.
So then I had 2 vice presidents reporting to me, 2 regionals, ended up getting more stores, ended up with more companies. Every time I got bored, they just gave me another company. So I took over Soma, the lingerie division.
right.
And then I took over Boston Proper. We bought
Okay.
Boston Proper. So they gave that to me also.
Yeah.
So I ended up with 2,200 stores and 1.9 billion in revenue.
Incredible.
Oh,
Yeah. How did you wrap your mind around that kind of success? Were you always looking for the next thing, or were you comfortable where you were? How did you process that level of success?
my number one strength is strategy. So I'm always figuring out like, what is my strategy going to be?
Yeah.
All I had to do was convince those girls to be $1 better than they were a year ago.
Yeah.
So ladies, just tell me that after an entire year, you didn't learn something that taught you to be $1 better than we were a year ago.
Yeah.
So we had 13 and a half years of double-digit comp increases, meaning we beat last year 13 and a half years in a row over 10%. It's unheard of.
Yeah.
It'll never happen again. And it's my team.
Yeah.
I said jump, they said, how high, Sher?
Yeah.
Because I treat them with respect. They made more money than anybody else in the mall because they deserve to.
Yeah.
And, they were just, I owe it all to them.
Yeah. What would you say? I mean, it sounds like you have such a positive leadership style. What would you say the most important thing in leadership when you're leading a team? What's the most important quality?
Clear communication.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, a couple of times when I've screwed up, tripped,
Yeah.
and I look back and research what went wrong, I did not communicate effectively.
Okay.
I wasn't clear. I wasn't concise, or they weren't listening. It goes both ways.
It does.
Because I could say, I said exactly that, but maybe I didn't check back for understanding.
Yeah.
But it is always in communication.
Yeah.
Always. Something fell apart.
Are you willing to share a trip?
Um,
What was your trip that you're willing to share? Sometime when you had a mishap.
my biggest trip in life,
Yeah.
I started when I retired,
Uh-huh.
before I had my store, before all that happened, I started drinking too much.
Oh.
I started playing tennis at
Uh-huh.
57.
Uh-huh.
Started going to California Pizza Kitchen at
Yeah.
lunch with the girls,
Yep.
drinking a martini. I'd
Yep.
never even had one before.
Right.
And I'm drinking martinis and, I'm going home and then at 3:00, I'm starting to have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
My mother was 49 years in recovery.
Yeah.
My dad died of drunk. It's all over my family.
Yeah.
And, my husband caught me a couple times. Honey, have you been drinking?
Yeah.
And I started lying about it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't telling him that I was.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew I was in trouble.
Yeah.
And about 6 years and 8 months ago, I stopped.
Wow.
And I've never had another drink. I don't ever want to have another one again.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest accomplishments of my life.
Yeah. Good for
Because
you.
every time I tell people that I don't drink,
Mhm.
they say, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah.
You can.
You can. It's
But
a
you have to
choice.
want to.
Yeah.
And most people don't want to.
Yeah.
They don't want to.
Yeah.
It did not serve me at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is getting a little bit off our story here, but I do think this continues to come up when I talk to women, that Naples has a little bit of a vacation feel every single day of the week.
Yes, it
And
does.
it's very easy to find yourself in a swimming pool 6 days a week with a margarita in your hand.
Very
And a
easy.
year later, it's kind of like, what what am I doing? You almost don't even notice it with the tennis even. Oh, I'm healthy, I'm wellness and exercise, and we're playing tennis and we're playing pickleball, and then we're having a drink every single day after. Or on Sunday morning, you're at Bloody Mary's, and so it is a little insidious when you live in a place like this where it's just very in part of the community. I think it can sneak up on you a little bit.
It's one of the things I'm most proud of.
Good for you for noticing. I mean,
I saw
for
my
taking
sister falling through
control
the same
over it.
pattern.
Yeah.
She quit too.
Yeah.
She quit right after me.
Yeah.
And we both say it's the best day of our lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Good for you for acknowledging that.
Anybody can quit.
Yeah.
They just have to want to.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is the biggest lesson you learned the hard way? I mean, that's a pretty big one, but let's go back to the business side of things. What's the biggest lesson you learned the hard way in business, in your professional path and journey that you've been on?
You can't trust everybody.
Mm.
I've had some women that have come across as just my best friend. And, and then you find out they are stabbing you in the back.
Yeah.
They are so jealous of you.
Yeah.
Because of your success.
Yeah.
And because of, I want to share this story. So here I thought taking the job with Chico's was, financially not the smartest move in my life.
Right.
Because it wasn't.
Right.
They cut my pay in half.
Yeah.
I could have stayed at the Wet Seal, making $1.50.
Being miserable though.
So being miserable. So 2 years, it was almost a calendar 2 years later. I'm still working at my mom's store. I'm loving it. My mom's really loving it because I send her clothes every single month. She's my same size. I sent her a box. Even at her funeral, the minister said she's the best dressed woman in Nebraska. They said it at the funeral.
That's amazing.
And I'm snowed in again. I have 3 million miles on Delta alone in the United States.
Yeah.
That's how much I flew.
Yeah.
I'm snowed in Denver, Colorado again. All I want to do is get home.
Yeah.
I'm at the bar. I get a phone call. It's my financial advisor. He said, "Are you sitting down?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Sher, we just put $1 million in your account." He said, the stock split 5 times that year. We're going to put another $1 million in tomorrow and probably another $1 million in the day after that.
Oh my God.
He said the founders were making $7 million an hour. An hour. They're billionaires.
Dang.
Yeah. This couple.
Yeah.
Who started selling folk art out of a hippie van.
Isn't that funny?
We're making $7 million an hour.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
So crazy.
It's so crazy. Little Chico's.
Yeah.
The woman that nobody else wanted.
Yeah.
That's who she was.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to be at the Limited or at Banana Republic or at, all the shiny objects.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to take care of her.
Yeah.
And
like slow and steady wins the race, right?
Chico's decided to take care of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we came up with the Traveler's Collection and we wore it and I came up with the bonus selling system.
Yeah.
So I believe in really easy, like we had a bonus selling. B stands for bottoms, O stands for options, N stands for novelty. I teach women how to sell in order.
Yeah.
And it's very simple. Anybody can do it.
Yeah. Okay. So you were talking about trust though, and women and friendship and how that's burned you a few times. So can you give me an example? I mean, we don't want to name names, obviously, but I'm wondering, maybe even if you don't want to do that, if you can talk about how do you protect yourself from engaging with the wrong people?
Listen for the whispers.
Yeah.
The couple of times that I had women working for me that were going under and behind me and trying to cause trouble and wanted my job.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted. They wanted my job.
Yeah.
And there were whispers there and I chose to ignore them and I don't anymore.
Yeah.
When I see even a little bit of tiny whisper, I make sure that I'm like, okay, Sher.
The radar's up.
Radar's up. Watch that woman.
Yeah.
Watch her. And it's usually women. I will tell you, I know a lot of women that don't like working for men. Mm-hmm. I work for the most respectful men in the world.
Yeah. Well, it's a little bit more, I mean, generally speaking, it's a little bit more what you see is what you get. Whereas with women, it's hard to be discerning sometimes. It can be difficult. To know exactly what you're getting.
Other than that one boss, I've had such great men working for me. They're absolutely spectacular and total respect. And you know what? They knew they couldn't do what I did.
Yeah.
They knew it.
Yeah.
And I made sure they knew it.
Yeah. Good for you.
I did.
I love that.
They can't go out and get in the fitting room and do what I do.
I love that. I love that.
Do this without me.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So how do you help women stop making failure mean something is wrong with them? Like, we're all tripping, we're all making mistakes, we're all getting off course from time to time. Talk to the woman that, gets off course and takes that on as an identity, as part of like who she is rather than a mistake she made. Talk to that woman.
I had a situation just in the last couple of days where somebody I know and love dearly is getting a divorce, and she feels like the biggest failure.
Yeah.
And, I sat down with her and I said, okay, you've had 30 years of marriage. Were there some good moments? So she talked about the good times. And I said, did anything ever tell you anything was going to be forever? Is that our mistake, that we kind of live that way? Like thinking that something we do is going to be forever. Divorce is 50%.
Yeah.
In the nation today.
Yeah.
And so half the people make it and half the people don't. So are you going to spend your entire rest of your life talking about how you didn't make it?
Right.
Or are you going to spend the next half of your life talking about how you nailed it?
Yeah.
So you have a choice.
Yeah.
You have a choice. We all have choices.
Yeah.
We all have choices.
Yeah.
Just like your last woman, Linda, how she said,
yeah,
I choose, I'm not going to say I don't want to do that.
Right.
Or I can't do that. I don't choose to participate in that.
Right.
And my person has chosen not to participate in her marriage anymore.
Yeah.
And she was getting verbally abused for the last 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of reasons why divorce happens, and it doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong. No, it's just the nature of the way relationships go oftentimes.
It's not working right now.
Yeah.
And you have to cut your losses.
Yeah.
And do everything you can to stay as friends as possible.
Yeah.
And not blame.
Yeah.
Because it's no one person's fault.
Right.
Everybody had a part in it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what would you say? I mean, to me, when I listen to your story, Sher, you've been gifted. To me, your personality is positive leadership and tied up with a bow. Like, positive leadership is the way that I hear you talk about your life. Not even like questioning yourself along the way for the most part. It's just you've been given a gift. And so I know you have a quote that includes confidence. So tell us what the quote is and tell us how that's important to you and when you use the quote.
Confidence is the single most beautiful thing a woman can wear every day. And that's at you.
Right?
Because when you feel confident, you are going to be beautiful. Every single woman, it's like you plug her in.
Yeah.
You can be in the fitting room and you can put an outfit on. And that's the reasons, ladies, I'm an author. I wrote a book.
Yes.
I almost called it confidence. It's the single most beautiful thing a woman to wear today. Because I say that, and I've been saying that at the end of every one of my videos. That's kind of like, that's my mantra.
Yes.
And I didn't want to write the book about confidence because there's so many books about confidence. And this is more generalized toward what you're wearing. And it's all about clothing and picking clothing that's right for your body type.
Yeah.
So the most amazing thing happens to a woman. I wish I could videotape the moment when she comes into the boutique and she's wearing the wrong clothes for her body.
Yeah.
Especially in the butt.
Yeah.
There's a whole chapter on how to buy pants for your rear end.
Yeah.
It's all about pocket placement.
Oh.
Nobody knows that.
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh God, if your pockets are too low, your butt's going to sag. If they're too high, and it's all about that.
Yeah.
And nobody knows that. And there's a whole chapter in the book on it. And when you see women put on clothes that are right for their body type and right for their skin tone, and you see them look in the mirror and you see the confidence and the beauty, and you're like, okay, that's my moment. Right here, right now.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Right.
You can feel that way every day.
Yeah.
You just got to learn what to wear.
Yeah.
For you and for your body.
Yeah.
And you have to get an education.
I have a copy of the book. It's the greatest thing ever. So tell us, before we even get into the book, we haven't really talked even about the boutique yet. So I know that after you were with Chico's, let's talk about how you transitioned out of the corporate world and kind of went, in a different direction, which led you to the book.
I retired.
Okay.
And I was lost.
Yeah.
And as I
said, you were like retired and done.
Retired and done. I worked there for 23 years.
Okay.
Then they kept me on, Chico's kept me on doing Instagram.
Okay.
For another 5 years.
Yeah.
So I would go down to the Fifth Avenue store, and twice a month, I would do Instagram.
Yeah.
And we would do a whole Share on Chic show.
Yeah.
And that was fun. And then, Chico's got sold.
Yeah.
They wanted me to come back.
Yeah.
At full time at my old job. And I don't want to work 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
I did it. I did it.
You know, I think I hear so many times when people retire, especially down here, a lot of people retire and come here, or they retire and they think at the very beginning, they're like, what am I going to do with all my time? And then within 2 weeks, they're all scheduled out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're
Totally.
like never going back.
Right.
It's just not something you want to go back to.
Right. So I started playing tennis, as I said.
Yeah.
Started drinking and I stopped.
Yeah.
And then I thought, you know what? I've always wanted to have a little store.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to open one.
Good for you.
So I'm a member at the Ritz-Carlton,
Yeah.
and I was taking tennis lesson there. And the tennis pro said, Cher, would you like to take over the pro shop?
Oh, okay.
So that's where She Can Love came,
Yes.
because it was just a tennis store.
Okay.
And so I did that for a couple of years. And then the Ritz-Carlton decided to take the tennis courts out.
Yes.
Can you imagine tennis courts on the beach?
Yeah, yeah,
Imagine what that property's worth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not they put up buildings
Right.
instead of tennis courts.
Right.
And so then I said, I'm going to get my own location, and I'm going to be the only boutique in the United States that sells luxury you live in.
Yeah.
Meaning I have fashion on one side, tennis, golf, and athleisure on the other side. So you
Yeah.
don't have to stop anywhere else.
Yeah.
I serve rosé all day.
Yeah.
Come in, get a glass of wine,
Yes.
and I'll fit you for anything, anywhere you're going,
I love that.
and any time of the day.
Great little shop.
Thank you.
Such
Thank
a great
you.
little shop.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's been 5 years doing that.
Yes,
5 or 6 years.
6 years, yes.
And so where does the book come from? Tell us about, let's get into it.
And then I thought, you know what? I've got a book in me.
Yeah.
And I want after 40 years of seeing women look in the mirror and almost in tears.
Yeah.
I
Sometimes probably in tears.
have so many stories of tears.
Yeah.
And after seeing women in tears, I thought I owe it to those women
Uh-huh.
to write a book so they understand how to never feel like that again.
Mm-hmm.
It took me 2 years. Then I started asking around. I didn't know how to publish. I mean,
Yeah.
I knew nothing.
Yeah.
I'm in retail. I don't know any of this.
Yeah.
So I started asking around. I keep hearing April O'Leary,
Yeah.
April O'Leary, April O'Leary.
Good friend of
like
mine.
4 times.
Yes.
I thought, oh, I'm going to pick April O'Leary.
Yeah.
She's a good friend of yours?
Oh, yes.
Of
I've known
course
her
she is.
15 years.
Of course she is.
Yes.
She's amazing.
Yes.
She and Heather took over the whole
Yes.
book and
Yes.
changed my life.
Yeah.
They took me by the hand. I had it written. They reorganized it, redid it, made it pretty,
Yeah.
and, helped me decide that The Mirror's Been Lying To is the perfect title for this one.
Yes. Yes. Okay. A little side story. So you had your book launch last week.
Yes.
I came into the store. This is April is a good friend of mine, and so I have permission to tell this story. I'm just going to assume. I come into the store. I'm talking to Heather. You're right there, and I see this woman paying for her clothes at the register, and she has this red sweater on, and it's like open in the back, and it shows her butt in these blue jeans. She's got the cutest little butt, and I'm like, that is the cutest little outfit. And I realize it's April.
It's
And she
April.
goes, I just picked this out and I'm wearing it home. And, and it was so cute. Those jeans were so cute on her butt. It was the cutest thing. But yes, I mean, it did make such a difference.
Didn't her butt look
Looked
great?
really
Her
good.
butt looked
Really
amazing.
good,
That
really
red
good.
sweater looked amazing. She and Heather got a new outfit too, and they all
Yes.
got outfits to wear for their new launching, their
Yes.
rebranding.
Yes.
So they all got the magic dress to be able to
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
But it's and April, Heather, she was there too, and she said, "Cher, which color sweater should I wear?" And she didn't. She never worn anything peach. She's got red hair, and her complexion is peach, and she puts on. And she called me the next day. She goes, "It's my new favorite sweater."
Yeah.
Everywhere I've gone today, everybody gone, "That color looks amazing on you."
Yeah.
That's the first thing I do is I pick out your eyes and
Yeah.
I get clothes that are going to make your eyes pop. And then
Yeah.
I look at your complexion and say, okay, what colors should I not put on her?
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want to do is put something on a woman and have them look in the mirror and go, oh my God, I look
Yeah.
awful. Then they're done.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
You lose them.
Yeah. Like I can't wear olive green, or like certain greens just make me look green.
Yeah, they'll do that. And
For
women
sure.
don't. Yeah, women just don't realize that.
Yeah. So what are some lessons in the book about The Mirror's Been Lying to You? What's the gist of what you're trying to teach women? Is it about picking out clothes? Is it about self-confidence? Is it a combination?
It's a combination of all of it.
Mhm.
There's a chapter on how to take great photographs.
Oh, that's good.
How to turn.
Yeah.
If the photographer gets down on the floor and points up, run for the
Yeah.
hills.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
For sure.
If you're concerned about your weight, don't stand beside the skinny girl.
Yeah.
Have her over there. Everybody laughs about that one.
That's true.
I
That's
mean,
true.
that's and then I've got a whole chapter on slim secrets.
Yeah.
You know, how to pop your collar. It makes you look taller.
Yeah.
How to cuff your sleeves because it differentiates where your hip stops and your arm starts.
Ah.
Otherwise, you're just a big bolt of fabric.
Yeah.
So there's so many tips in here, just simple, easy. They don't cost any money.
Yeah.
And they're like, everybody's read the book, and I'm already on Amazon's #1
Yes. So let's
for my
hold up the book.
category.
Hold up the book here.
Thank you.
We'll put it right there so we can see. And this is Amazon?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. You can get it on Amazon. And we just hit #1 for new books in this category.
That's awesome.
Yesterday. So that was
exciting.
really exciting.
So exciting.
Thank you.
Oh
Thank
my
you,
gosh,
thank
I
you.
love that. So
Thank you.
So what would be the #1 message you would give to a woman who doesn't know how to dress herself, who doesn't feel confident? What would you tell her? Because I think sometimes women will go into a boutique and they're almost afraid of the people working there. They're intimidated. They don't know how to pick out their clothes and they don't want to be pressured into something they don't like. What would be your biggest piece of advice for someone like that?
Well, the biggest thing is you have to be educated.
Mm.
And if you're not educated, then you have to trust this person that may be on commission.
Yeah.
Or maybe just trying to make her sales goal.
Yeah.
And doesn't really care how you look.
Yeah.
She's just trying to sell stuff.
Yeah.
And that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, if you walk into Saks, they're on commission.
Right.
They're there to sell clothes.
Right.
Not to make you look beautiful.
Right.
So I think you first have to know, you have to educate yourself.
Yeah.
You have to know about your body.
Yeah.
You have to know what things look great on you. More importantly, what things don't.
Yeah.
And don't follow every trend. And
Right.
don't wear every trend at one time.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen women it's just like, oh my God, she picked every trend and she chose to wear it all at one time.
Yeah, it's a little much.
And, know what trends are right for you.
Yeah.
Because your body type's not going to, and your age.
Yeah.
There's some trends that are not, now I have a body that I could wear just about anything. I take great care of myself. I work out all the time, It's not right for my age.
Yeah.
I'm 65 years old.
Yeah. I mean, crop tops were in for a couple of years there. I couldn't go shopping for 2 years.
No,
because I'm not wearing a crop top.
And I'm not wearing
53 years old.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
I'm not either.
It's not
And
happening.
I got abs of steel.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's not right for my age group.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's also like, you don't want to dress too young, but you also don't want to dress too old either, right?
Frumpy dressing is even the worst.
Yeah.
I think my next book is going to be how not to dress.
So tell me
old.
about that a little. Like, I think people, they kind of naturally gravitate into like this comfort, and everything can be comfortable. Like what you're wearing today, you were showing me earlier, so comfortable. It's not like it's uncomfortable, but it's not frumpy.
No.
So how do you coach people, women that are wanting to, they don't necessarily want to be all dolled up all the time, but they want to still feel and look good at the same time.
So if you educate yourself, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
educate yourself in your body type and what clothes look good on you and what clothes don't look good on you.
Yeah.
Find a place to shop where you trust the salesperson.
Okay.
Or a manager.
Yeah.
Find somebody you trust.
Yeah.
My girls are so great. They won't say your butt looks fat nose, but they'll go, you know what?
How about this?
I got a better pair of jeans for you to wear.
Yeah.
So I just really think that you have to educate yourself and you have to find somebody that you trust.
Yeah.
I have the greatest story because when you have your own boutique, you get to do it your way.
Yeah.
Because I get to serve rosé all day.
Right.
Like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And so the other day, a woman was in her store for the first time and she had over $5,000 worth of clothes piled up. I was helping her. And, we were all helping her.
Yeah.
And her husband was sitting out on the park bench. Because a lot of times men come, and I have great chairs for the men. I learned that at Chico's. You got to have a great place for the man to sit down.
Yes.
He's sitting out there, and I have Heineken for the men too. So I brought him out a Heineken, and he looks at me like I'm from another planet.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? And I said, would you care to have a Heineken? Your wife's having a great time in there. And he goes, I shop at Neiman's. I shop at Saks. Nobody's even given me the time of day, let alone brought me Heineken.
Yeah.
So she comes back the next day. She's got another $2,000 on the cash wrap. And I said, where is your beautiful husband? She said, Sherry's at home sick. I wrapped up a Heineken in the tissue in a She Can Love bag with a little note, get well soon.
Yeah.
Send it home. 3 days later, he comes and he finds me and he said, Cher, my wife can spend whatever she wants here.
Oh my gosh.
He goes, I have never, ever been treated like that before anywhere.
Yeah. And
And you're brilliant. I said, no, I'm not. I said, I was just being nice.
Yeah.
And he said, no. He goes, just think about it. So it's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's not that hard
Yeah.
to go out of your way
Right.
to treat people the way they want to be treated.
Yeah.
And that's how I treat my team.
Yeah.
And that's how I treat my customers.
Yeah.
Is treat them with respect and kindness and honesty.
Yeah.
And if something makes your butt look fat, get him another pair of jeans. Don't let him walk out going, oh, I bought these at She Can Love. And everybody's going, okay, reminder, don't shop there.
Right. Right. I think that's so important. It's really just about the human touch. It's really just about being aware of the people that are in your surroundings, whether they're in your store or in your community. And I was actually just talking to someone last night about this, that, I think that the progression of society has gone from where we all used to live, in the same town as our family. We were all a tight-knit community. And then families started to move far away from each other, and we got a little disconnected, and we started to kind of pay attention to our own business and not paying as much attention to others. You throw in technology, now we're all connected online, and we have like friends that we don't really have, they're not real people in our lives. So now we're even more isolated. Then you throw in a pandemic on top of that, and no one's even looking up to say hello to other people. And so if you are the one, like you are, Sher, that goes the extra mile to pay attention, to have the awareness, to have the empathy, to see the people around you and pay attention to them, that's life-changing.
I make the girls walk the bag around, look the client in the face.
Yes.
And I tag them when I don't hear this.
Yes.
I said, these are the things I need to hear 100% of the time.
Yes.
You have 5 seconds to say hello to somebody and then walk through that door. I don't care if you're busy. I don't care if you have 20 customers.
Yeah.
You're going to say hello.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is you walk the bag around, you look her in the eyes, and we say, I know you have a million places to shop. Thank you for choosing She Can Love.
That's wonderful. Those little special touches go so far.
But they're so easy.
Yeah, they are.
Like, look at Saks. They're in chapter 11.
Yeah.
If they practiced any one of these,
Yeah.
they maybe wouldn't be where they are today.
But this is why you're a genius, because it's easy for you, but it's not something that other people are thinking of doing. And so that's what's setting you apart really from everyone else. And it's just amazing.
And like Chico's, they wanted me to come back, and they're not offering payroll. So right now, instead, they're trying to cut costs instead of trying to drive business.
Yeah.
So everybody gets in this, oh my God, we're scared to death. We're closing stores. We're going to freak out. We have no payroll. We'll cut it down to 2 people, and we'll just figure out how to cut costs. That's not the way to do it.
Yeah.
It's not the way.
Yeah. 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 I hear you. Oh my gosh. Well, this was amazing. So where can people find you, Sher, going forward? If someone wants to get in touch with you, get the book, however it is they want to get in touch with you.
I'm on Instagram, She Can Love, shop She Can Love. You can shop at my store, shop shecanlove.com.
Yes.
You can buy the book on Amazon. Please do.
Yes.
Educate yourself, ladies. Then you will be prepared, and you don't have to count on other people.
Yeah.
Educate yourself.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh,
you are amazing.
It's an
Wonderful.
honor. You are amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hope to see you all soon.
Thank you. All right. So I just want to say a heartfelt thank you to both of our incredible guests today, Linda Bucher and Sher Canada. Thank you for sharing stories so honestly, so beautifully. The courage it takes to open your heart and let other women learn from where you've lived is powerful. And I know your words are going to stay with so many women long after this episode ends. And to every woman watching right now, thank you for being here. Thank you for giving your time to this. And thank you for being willing to listen, reflect, and grow with us. For more information about our organization, head on over to stepintograce.vip. You can follow us on Instagram. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Step Into Grace with Julie Marvel. And we are weekly on this channel, Thursdays from 11 to 1 with Step Into Grace Live. Thank you so much for being here, and bye for now. Okay.
Way to go.